Hi there, I'm Christy Coloutti, the principal of Rutland Intermediate School, and I'm here with another episode of Spotlight in Schools, and we are super excited to be hosting Stafford Technical Center. So I am here with the engineering program, welcome, and I will have James Holden introduce himself, and then let the guys introduce themselves as well. So welcome.
Thank you. James Holden, I'm a mechanical engineer. I've been teaching at Stafford since the beginning of this year, and I'm really excited.
Fantastic. You want to start, and we'll just go right down the line?
Sure, glad to. I'm Matthew Bratton. I am a second year at Stafford Technical Center, and I go to Rutland High School.
Awesome.
My name is Aaron Chambers. I'm from Mill River Union High School, and I'm also a second year in the engineering program.
My name is Robert Harris. I'm also a second year here at Stafford Technical Center, and I'm from Holtney High School.
My name is Jonas Holden. I'm a first year at the engineering program, and I'm homeschooled.
Fantastic. So James, Mr. Holden, is that?
I go by James in the
Okay,
class.
perfect, James. Can you tell us a little bit about the engineering program at Stafford and what makes it unique for high school students?
Sure. So I guess what's nice about our program for somebody who's thinking about going into engineering is you get a chance to actually do real engineering things before you ever go to college or before you're into a career. So it's kind of like an easy way to try it out. Mm-hmm. You know, you can use the tools that you would actually use in industry. So we use 3D modeling tools like Fusion and SolidWorks, and we have CNC machines. And that's something that like some college kids don't even get until their later years in college, where they're trusted to touch the machines. My kids get to do that basically right out of the gate. Like our first day of class, they do a safety thing, and then we get right into using tools. So it's a really good preparation for going out into the workforce or going to college, and having that preparation before you know, these other kids that you're with have ever touched machines or done any work with SolidWorks or Fusion. They've already done it, and so it gives them a leg up.
So if I'm in the community kind of watching this episode and not really sure the language you're talking about in terms of engineering and things like that, if I was watching, what are some of the projects someone might encounter while being at Stafford? Like, what are some of the projects they would be doing? I don't know if you guys want to speak to some projects that you do at Stafford, or what it looks like.
Yeah, sure. So actually right now we're working on a motorized snowboard project at the moment. So currently we're in our design phase with that. Our objective is to make a attachment for a snowboard that allows it to go uphill, just really on flats, just giving a new aspect to snowboarding, really. And it's just been an amazing experience doing that. I've been learning a lot with the software we've been using, and pretty soon we're going to get into actually building with our tools in-house. And it's been just an amazing experience with that.
Awesome. What are some other projects you guys have accomplished at Stafford? You've been there a year or two, maybe, if you're a junior or senior. How does that? What are some other projects that you do in the program?
The project we did before the snowboard project, we worked with the musical instruments to make them like play. We made robots play the instruments. So that's pretty cool. Mine in particular was using a robot to play a piano. We got to play 2 songs before it kind of stopped, just kind of didn't really work anymore.
Do you actually build the robot?
We built the robot, we could
And
program
then-
the whole thing, and then we just attached right onto a piano. You just had to set it underneath the piano and could move back and forth and play all the keys.
So Matthew and Aaron worked together on that project. Matthew ended up doing a lot of the programming for it, which was new for you, right?
It was.
Yeah.
It was.
And what did you program in?
So the songs that I programmed was Jingle Bells, and then,
It was around Christmas time.
yeah, it was around
Yeah.
Christmas. Then I forgot what the second one was.
Yeah, I programmed the second one. I believe it was Ode to Joy.
Yep,
Because I
that
got to
was it.
play the main part of that before.
It just stopped.
Is
Yeah,
that a
it
special
kinda-
software? Like when you're programming, is it computer-based? Is it a
It-
special is that the program you were talking about?
So you guys were
how do you do
programming
it?
in Python.
Correct.
And yeah, so we use Vex Robotics kits, which helps when they're first starting out before they're knowing how to like actually make parts using the CNC machines. But it really helps them to like prototype and get a design out there and start doing it. Aaron also, he had started originally on a much tougher problem when we started. So he plays trombone in band. And so that was the
Were
first
you
thing.
trying to get the robot to play a trombone?
Yeah.
Do you want to
Okay,
talk
that's
about that?
crazy.
Yeah, so the hard part about that was getting it to actually make noise, because like the very specific way the human body can make the sound in a mouthpiece is very difficult for a robot to replicate that like very specific like vibrating your lips can do. So we got one that could play a PVC pipe. It could make
Okay,
sound in that, but
yeah.
it couldn't play the actual trombone after a while, so I just kind of couldn't make any further progress with the knowledge I had, so I switched to working on the piano.
Okay.
Yeah.
What size are these like, what does it look like? I'm glad I'm hosting this because I'm super naive to this stuff. Is it like a life-size robot? Is it
No,
like,
no.
What
So
does
when
it
we
look
talk
like?
about robot, it's a very generic term.
Gotcha.
We're talking about a programmed machine.
Okay.
So in this case, if you imagine a keyboard, it had a track in front of the keyboard and linkages that are like the fingers and an actuator that pushes the linkages.
Okay.
So they had to be able to program that it knows where it is in front of the keyboard, because like it doesn't have eyes to see it, so it
yeah.
has to know by distance, and then how long to play and how far to push down and all of that. So yeah.
So cool. So academically, even for me, when I think of engineering, I really think of math, and some people think of theory. What is engineering? What academic background do you have to be part of the engineering program at Stafford? Do you have to be a strong mathematician, or what does that look like for you guys?
So I'd say certainly math and theory are a huge part of engineering, but for me, engineering is just improving on design or just creating what comes to my mind. So something I'd personally like to do in the future is work with making exoskeletons to help people with mobility issues. And while there is math involved with that, I think a lot of it really just comes down to creativity and knowing what I'm trying to solve. I forgot the man who made the quote, but it was something along the lines of half of solving a problem is defining the problem. And I think that really hits home with engineering as well. And just really being an engineer is just about not giving up, really just improving on your past failures.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, if I was going to add to it, it's like having clear thinking of defining the problem, like Robbie said, and then once you define the problem, being able to work through that problem systematically, so that you're not just taking wild leaps like, let's try this and let's try this. Okay, what's the next step? How do I solve that problem? What's the next step? How do I solve that problem? And so you don't have to be a math whiz to be an engineer.
Okay.
I'm not. I've struggled with math my whole
Yeah.
life. And the reason that I got into engineering was because I like to make things and I like to solve problems. And so even though it was a struggle to get through the math to be able to be an engineer, it's something I love doing.
How does your program, do you feel, prepare students for the engineering world or careers in Vermont or the trade? How does Stafford prepare? How has it prepared you guys? I know it sounds like you have some opportunity for an internship.
Yeah.
How has the start of this program prepared you for that?
It's been really good because I didn't have any experience with the software that we use at the job. It's Fusion 360, and I hadn't heard of it at all before I started at Stafford. I had some CAD experience before at a different job, doing SolidWorks, but it was a whole different thing going to Fusion. So in my first year here, that was a lot of what we did, was working with the new software. And then with that, it really prepared me for this job, because that's a lot of what I do there, is making up these models for our...
Do you want to talk about your job?
Yeah.
Who it is and what you do?
Okay, yeah. So it's Authentic Designs in Rupert, Vermont, and they make these like colonial light fixtures, like old style light fixtures, and everything there is like a super authentic process. It's super cool. So it goes from being a CAD model, which is what I do.
What does CAD mean?
That
I'm sure
just
it's an
means-
acronym for
yeah,
something,
it's
right? What is it?
Computer-aided design, right? Or
Mhm.
assisted? It's aided, okay. So computer-aided design, and that's, it could be drawing up a laser file for a laser cutter to cut out, or it could be making a 3D model for it to, this last job I did for the company was actually making a mock-up of a lantern that we are making for this customer, so that we could show it to them and see, like, what do you want us to adjust about this, or is this a good option for you? And then a big part of my job is making the actual files that the laser cutter cuts out. But then once it goes from me, it goes to the people that we have cut it out, and then they send us the material. And then we have sheet metal people that roll it into a shape, and then we have people that solder stuff together, and then there's a guy out back who actually, we get this glass blown from Germany. It's like $5,000, and then they cut it into the right shape and put it in the light fixture. Then we have a different guy that's doing wiring, and so many things that go into the process. It's super cool.
That is really crazy.
Yeah, he tells us the stories about what they're working on, and it's a neat experience to take what we're doing in the classroom and then be able to apply it in real life, and then like all of that experience that he brings back. So,
Do you guys have like really big 3D printers at Stafford? Like, do you use 3D printers in your field? I'm just thinking, we have many students at the intermediate school that are very much interested into coding and using 3D printers, and I'm just seeing how relevant it is to what you guys do up at Stafford.
yeah, so all of these guys could talk about that. Robbie did a project on that musical robot project that was very heavy in 3D printing. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, sure. So my project for the music project was making a guitar that played itself. And since a guitar is kind of an irregularly shaped instrument, I really had to start from base, ground up. So I worked in SolidWorks, a CAD software, to design each component for this, and all of them were 3D printed. So for instance, the way I was able to play strings, I had a carriage on a track that would go up and down the fretboard of the guitar. So I designed it in SolidWorks, and then I was able to print it out in one of our many printers we have at Stafford. And I just kept iterating on that design until eventually I got it to play by just adding parts together. And actually the song I got it to play was the bass line for the song by the Cranberries called Zombie.
Okay. Nice.
It was a neat project, and like Robbie really worked hard on it. I think he put in more hours because it was so hard. So he would come in early and he would stay late, and the 3D printers really helped him to like take his idea from CAD and then try it out. And he had to go through several iterations where he thought he had it and it was like all good, and he'd make the parts, and then it didn't work quite as he intended. One of the times he was showing it off to our director, Melissa Connor. You want to tell her about it?
Yeah, sure. So I was showing our director trying to play it, and originally the design was kind of a flywheel, and it had 8 picks on it. Unfortunately,
So imagine like a fan with blades.
Okay.
And this was guitar picks all the way around
Okay.
it, and the motor would spin to play the strings.
Unfortunately, I had it programmed backwards on accident, so
Did it
it
go
snapped
flying?
all the picks.
Off it.
So
Yeah.
he tries to play the song and it just went, it blew the thing apart. So it was a good time to show off to our director.
It's just really, just listening to it, it's really fascinating just because my brain is turning, like maybe getting some collaborations with our intermediate school kids with you all, just because there's a big interest in that kind of stuff. So tell me a little bit about what your day-to-day schedule looks like. So I'm a high school student, I may be a sophomore interested in joining Stafford. What does your schedule look like? If you guys want to just talk about like from the morning you start, like what does that look like?
Sure. So my day starts off with going to Stafford at 9:15 when Stafford starts. And then I'm in the engineering program halfway through the day. Then afterwards, I have my classes through Rutland. I have my music classes, such as like band and chorus. And then after that, I go back to the technical center until we get out at 2:15.
Nice. How about somebody that doesn't attend Rutland's? Like if I attended Pontley or Mill River, how does my schedule look in comparison to somebody who goes to school at Rutland?
Yeah, so for me, I actually go to school before Stafford starts, and I go to Mill River. I have band in the morning, and I leave band and go straight to Stafford. And then depending on which day of the week it is, I'll either go to an academic class in the morning or I'm going to my program. And then I'll have an academic class in the afternoon, usually, and then I go back to my program there to the end of the day.
Okay, so it's pretty flexible. You sometimes go to school. Do you guys have the opportunity to go to like prom at your home base or play sports if you wanted to? Or do you have to just stick with the Stafford schedule? What does that look like?
We are able to do a lot with our sending schools. Like I still do a bunch of theater stuff. I do extra like music programs. I'm part of Mill River's jazz band.
Okay.
So I go back 2 days a week for that. But no, we are able to, I go back a lot for activities there, and they usually will find a way to get us, like get a bus to come pick us up.
Oh, nice.
So we can attend like pep rallies or like
Oh, good.
fun events for us.
So it sounds like it's very personalized. Would you agree that that's really how it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, I personally played soccer and did varsity snowboarding, and I
Oh,
never
fantastic.
felt that I was missing out on something. I always felt like I was accommodated and I was able to do the sports that I love to do.
Awesome. That's really nice that it's flexible, I think, for folks, who really love their home-based school and want to do things with their current friend group. I think that's really important. So talk about how important are the partnerships in our community? Like, what does Stafford add to our community, and what can the community offer back to you folks at Stafford?
Well, so one thing is we have our advisory board. So the advisory board is made up of businesses from the community that are in engineering. And so we have GE, we have Omia, we have Green Mountain Power, we have Velco. We have a ton of companies all throughout this area, and we take their input of what we should be teaching. So they have their feelers out in the community as far as their business and what it needs. And that helps us to know, well, what should we be teaching that will help them for future engineers? What equipment do we need, to keep us on the cutting edge? And at the same time, they can provide us with help for things, what we need, what we should be teaching, and we give feedback of what we're trying to do. And anyway, it's a good partnership. We get things like Jonas's job where, opportunities come up and we're able to fill positions, so it's mutually beneficial. We often have requests from the community to help them make things because we have the equipment. And so we've had companies come to us and say, hey, my laser cutter is broken today. I need this piece out. Do you guys have availability to cut this piece? And we've done that. For Green Mountain Rock Climbing Club, we made trophies for them for their most recent competition. And a student did that. That's how it is. Our students are the ones doing the projects. And so it's really neat to be able to work with the community to do all of these things and to give them all experience.
Do you interview students to be accepted, or how do students become part of the program for engineering?
We do. So basically, they reach out through our website.
Okay.
They can also call and set up a time to come and visit the school. We have sign-up times of the year. So just recently, we had one where students could come through and visit the program. There's still some space available, so they can contact us and see if they can get in. I know all of our programs have really great opportunities. And so if it's not engineering they're interested in, there's probably a program that would work for them.
Well, what piqued your interest in the program? Like, what made you guys join the engineering program?
For me, I will say the first time I visited Stafford, I didn't know the engineering program existed.
Okay.
So I visited a bunch of other programs first, and then I went back for like an open house night and visited the program for the first time. And it just blew me away, the amount of like stuff that was in there.
Awesome.
And I talked with some of the former students and one of the former teachers that used to work there.
Yeah.
And it just kind of made up my mind that that's the program I want to go into, with all the opportunities I could have and all the different tools I'd learn how to use.
Yeah. What about you guys?
Yeah, so during my freshman year, I had a IT class for welding and engineering. So I had the first half of the quarter in the welding program, and then the second half was in the engineering program. So that gave me a little bit of an idea of what the engineering program was like, and then throughout like my sophomore year, I've had friends in Stafford, and just hearing what they've said about Stafford and how great of a school it is and whatnot, I really wanted to join. So I went in for like interviews, was checking it out and everything, and I decided to go for engineering because I have the experience with it and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, so I had a visit my sophomore year of high school, and it was kind of around all the programs. And I remember when we stopped by engineering, I was pretty blown away just by the sheer amount of technology that our room has, or the room had. Things like CNC machines, which allow us to mill metal, just blew me away. The amount of 3D printers, the software we had access to. And as someone who just really loves to work with my hands, this was the dream for school for me. So I immediately signed up for that, and I've been enjoying it ever since.
Nice.
For me, it was actually a friend that introduced me to Stafford because she said she was going there, but in a different program. And then I started looking into it of like, this could be a cool option. And I've always been interested in engineering as like, I like making things, and I really like how many different options there are for which way you can go with your career if you go into engineering. Like just the variety of different options that there are out there is kind of crazy. You can specify it so much of like, I'm going to be working on just this thing. And it's kind of crazy. But I like that about engineering, and I think that's why I chose to be here.
And you were homeschooled, right?
Yes.
So how different is it from your homeschool experience?
It's different for sure. It's a lot more like everything's planned out for you. You have your, this is where I'm going to be going at this time of day. But it's also not that strict either. Like everyone's schedule is different, and depending on what you're doing, like I leave on certain days partway through the day to go to my job because I'm part of the work-based learning program. And it's just super cool that there's so much flexibility with that. I think that made it an easier transition going from homeschooled to Stafford.
Is there a requirement that you academically need to do well, like in your classes, in order to be accepted to Stafford, or can anybody? You know, sometimes I think students think that, you know, they can kind of fool around in school and then just go to Stafford, and I'm not thinking that's the way. Is there an
No.
expectation in terms of what you need to have academically in order to be
There
accepted?
is, yeah. So just in our process of interviewing the student, they have to want to be there.
I was going to say motivation, I think, has to be a
That's
thing
the
for
biggest
sure.
thing.
Yeah.
Like, you have to have good grades,
Yep.
but you have to want to be there.
Yeah.
And when we do our interviews, if you're goofing around or you're just sitting quietly off in the corner and not engaging and you're not interested in what we're doing, it's some red flags, and you're less likely to get in the program. So to get into the Stafford programs, when you're interviewing, make sure you're there and you're excited to be there and you're listening and you're attentive and you're showing that this is how I'm going to be as a student. I'm going to be here and I'm going to be engaged. So for me as a brand new teacher, that was what I was worried about. Was my mom was actually a teacher, and so I knew the things that you have to deal with as a teacher
Yeah.
of people. I was a student who didn't always want to be there, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah, for sure.
and so I was a little worried about that. But I don't have to worry about that. These
Yeah.
students, they signed up for it, they want to be there, they're interested in what we're teaching, and so it's awesome. Like, I introduce a topic and let them run, and we just, like, we have great discussions, not always exactly on topic, but
Yeah.
like good discussions that people enjoy, and we learn new things every day.
What a great way of learning. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you're not, traditional classrooms definitely don't work for everybody, so I think it's great.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys want to do when you grow up, when you graduate? College, trade, what do you see yourselves doing in a couple of years? What do you think?
Yeah, so I am looking to get into like robotic engineering.
And explain what those things mean to the people watching, because not everybody knows what that means. Like, what do you want, like, what does that mean?
Sure. So so I want to get into like building different building robots, like how
Okay.
kind of how James was saying, like program machines, pretty much, because I feel like that's where our future is heading, especially with all this new technology coming out and and all this, the AI and everything, and I kind of want to be 2 steps ahead of that.
Great.
I've been looking into going to college for either like a mechanical engineering or biomedical engineering, which is like biomedical engineering is more like helping like advanced medical technology, like making prosthetics, improving on like the machines that are used to keep people alive, and always just helping make the process better for people.
Wow. Amazing.
So I'd love to major in mechanical engineering with a minor in business administration. And really my career path, I really see I really love to make exoskeletons to help people with mobility issues. But I also like to work on motorcycle design with like companies such as Yamaha or BMW Motorrad is really where I
This
wanna
is
be
your
in the future.
commercial plug, like anybody who
Yeah.
here's our
BMW is
contact
watching right now.
information.
Feel free to hit me up.
That's great.
I'm definitely planning on going to college. I'm thinking of going into a more programming-focused field, but I'm keeping my options open still.
Yeah.
I've got to explore a bit more. I'm still a junior.
Yeah,
but
for sure. So, interesting, your background, so before we were airing, tell me a little bit about your background and how you came to Stafford as an educator.
I mean, I've worked in lots of different aspects of mechanical engineering. My original interest out of college was like in alternative energy and how we can use waste products as energy sources and things like that. I ended up getting into manufacturing for a company that did a lot of solar stuff, and our area that we lived in had a big wildfire, and that caused us to have to move, and we looked wherever we could move, and we picked Vermont. We took a trip out here. We loved how it looked. It felt like home. We had lived in the mountains before, and so having the green and the mountains around us. And I continued working in different aspects of mechanical engineering here, and this job came up, and a friend recommended me to look at it, and it's been
And
great
here you
ever
are.
since.
Yeah, it's just the background from, like, first and foremost, like, you guys have done an excellent job just informing the community about what Stafford's program is. To think you're still in high school, you're very articulate and very mature, so I totally appreciate that. You've done an awesome job with that. So thank you for just informing the community and educating, others about Stafford, because I think it is a great program for sure. What's one thing that you advise for students that are considering Stafford? Like, what's one piece of advice you have for them? We only have a couple minutes, so.
One piece of advice.
And if you want to pass, I'll come back to you.
Yeah, sure.
I think that my one piece of advice would be just do it. There's absolutely no risk to signing up. It's not going to cost you anything. And if anything, you have a chance to further your knowledge on stuff without losing out on anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, going on, adding on to what Aaron was saying, yeah, there's nothing to lose. And it really is a great experience, really, to be in the classroom, to work with the tools that we have, and just to be with the people. It's amazing.
Great.
I'd add on to that as well. 100% just join. It's an amazing experience. No matter what field you pick, you're still gaining qualifications to apply to any field. You're gaining the ability to articulate information better and job experience. 100% join Stafford.
I think one of the biggest things to keep in mind is just like putting yourself in the mindset of, okay, this is what I'm going into, and I'm gonna, like, don't let it become a chore. Like, if it's a thing that you want to do and you're moving forward with it thinking this could be a good career option for me, then don't let it be something that you are dreading, or like, I have to go to school tomorrow. Like,
Right.
for a lot of our students here, I feel like it's not seen as a chore like that. It's seen as, I am going to go to Stafford, and then I'm going to see my friends, and I'm going to work on a project that we're doing. And
Yeah.
It's cool.
The mindset, right?
Yeah.
It's all in your mindset. Well, thank you guys so much. I appreciate you coming down here and informing everybody, and hopefully we can build maybe a connection with the intermediate school with you guys. I love that so much.
Yeah.
All right, thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for our next episode.